Hi folks, Greg Lloyd here, professional piano player and creator of classical to jazz piano with another quick lesson for you. Do you want to learn to improvise, ditch the dots, reading music and play jazz piano, but you have no idea where to start? Maybe you're confused about what a chord or a triad is on the piano. Do you want to learn how to play all of the major and minor triads in all inversions and in all 12 keys on the piano? Well, if this is you and you can read music, then stick around as I'm going to show you how to play the major and minor triads in all inversions and in all 12 keys right now. Plus, I have them all written out on a free guide or a PDF. I mean, how cool is that? Check the link out below. Let's get going. All right, before we kick off, make sure that you download the free guide below, print it off, and you're good to go. Plus, do subscribe, hit that like button and the bell. If you want to learn to ditch the dots and improvise and play jazz piano, this lesson really is a great place to start. And an understanding of the major and the minor triads in all inversion is, for me, the number one place to start with all of my students. It's the foundation of all chords, as jazz is made up of a load of chords, not just in one key, but in all 12 keys. And these triads are the foundation of all the chords that we build upon later. So to help you get this fundamental foundation into your head with the triads and to make your jazz journey easier and faster, I have written out all of the major and minor triads in all 12 keys and in all inversions, all on one PDF or one guide for you. I remember the day when I couldn't play an F sharp minor triad or an E flat minor triad. No way. It took me time to learn these, but I want to help supercharge your jazz journey right now, today, with this guide. So let's get going. Okay, so here we are in the key of C. So please note that the major triad is made up of 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so here it is here. So key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and we give you 1, 3, 5 of that, and there's our major triad. Okay, and we'll come to the minor one in a bit. Notice on the screen there that I have the little arrow on the C natural, the middle C leading up the octave to the C. Okay. Now, what I'm doing there is like this one here, C, E, G is root position, and it has its own sound. If you want to make another sound, you can move this note up the octave and leave these two notes in the middle, and therefore that becomes first inversion C. All right, that's pretty cool. And then if you put the E natural on top again, you get second inversion C. Yeah, and then you put this note on top again, the G on top, and it comes to the root position up the octave. So effectively, there's 3 ways to play a triad, a major triad. There's root position, there's first inversion, second inversion, and then it repeats up the octave. And it keeps moving up the piano, as you see, okay? So there's 3 different ways to play a major triad, and you get the different sounds when you do that, okay? With the different top note. A cool thing to do would be to play it also with the left hand. So we got our root position, C, E, G, and then we got our first inversion, second inversion, and root position again. All right? So there it is in the key of C. So I'm going to fly through them now. I'm just going to play them and explain which one I'm playing, because the cool thing to remember is that top note to bottom. All right? Put that note up the top, that note up the top, that note up the top, and you get your different inversions as you're moving up. It's almost like a major arpeggio, if you like. You can imagine that in the back of your brain for the more advanced student. All right, so cool. All right, so, and obviously that happens with the left hand as well. We're moving this note up the top, this note up the top, this note up the top. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're going to fly through the other keys right now. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so here we are in a key of G. G major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 5. is our root position. Move this note up the top. We get our first inversion. Move this note up the top. We get our second inversion. Move this note up the top. We get our root position again in up the octave. And the left hand as well. Here it is in root position. Move this note up the top. Here it is in first inversion. Move this note up the top. Second inversion, and then move this note up top. And you get your root position again up the octave. All right, so there it is in the key of G. Okay, so here we are in the key of D. Okay, the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 1, 3, 5 of that scale, you get the root position major triad. Now, if you want to get your first inversion, move that note up the top. Get your first inversion, okay, F sharp, A, D, and then you move this note up the top to get your second inversion, A, D, F sharp, okay. And to get your root position again up top, D, F sharp, A. All right, so there it is there in the key of D with the right hand. And the left hand, you've got your root position, D, F sharp, A. Move this note up top. Get your first inversion, F sharp, A, D. Second inversion, A, D, F sharp. And then your root position again up the top. Okay, so there it is in the key of D. All right, so here we are in the key of A. All right, A major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 3, 5, you get your major triad. There it is there, root position. So A, C sharp, E. Now, let's get that first inversion. So then put this note up the top. And we get our first inversion, C sharp, E, A. And then with this note up top again, we get E, A, C sharp. And put this note up top again, and we get our root position again, okay? But up the octave. With the left hand, we get our 1, 3, 5, A, C sharp, E, root position, with this note up top, C sharp, E, A, and then with this note up the top to get the next inversion. So E, A, C sharp, and move this note up the top to get the A root position up the octave. Okay, so there it is in the key of A. All right, now a key of E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so root position would be 1, 3, 5. All right, and there's our root position triad. So if we want to get our first inversion, we move this note up the top, okay? And there it is there. So G sharp, B, E. And then if we want to get our second inversion, we move the G sharp up the top, and which is B, E, G sharp. And then if we want to get our root position again up the octave, E, G sharp, B, we move that B up the top, okay? So there it is there in the key of E. Now, with the left hand, here's our root position, and we move this note up the top for our first inversion, G sharp, B, E, and we move the G sharp up the top for the next inversion, so it's B, E, G sharp, and then for the root position again, up the octave. Okay, so there it is in the key of E. Okay, so here we are in the key of B. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so B major triad in root position, 1, 3, 5. B, D sharp, F sharp. With this note up the octave to get the first inversion. So D sharp, F sharp, B. First inversion, B. And then to get the second inversion, B. Move that note up the octave, so it's F sharp, B, D sharp. And then to get the root position up the octave, move the F sharp up the top. And there it is there again, in root position up the octave. With the left hand, here we go here, so 1, 3, 5. So B sharp, D sharp, F sharp. Move this note up the top. And we got D sharp, F sharp, B. Move this note up the top. And then F sharp, B, D sharp. And then with this note up the top, and you get your root position. Okay, you can see a pattern sort of starting to form here, eh? So cool. Let's move on to the key of F now. Okay, so here we are in the key of F. So F major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so 1, 3, 5 equals our major triad, FAC. Put this note up the top, ACF. Put this note up the top, CFA for second inversion, and then reposition again up the octave. All right, 1, 3, 5. So with the left hand, you might want to play this one up the octave, you know, playing it up the octave there, because it is a bit muddy down there. So we're going to bring it up here. So FAC is root position 1, 3, 5. Put this note up the top. First inversion ACF. Second inversion C, F, A, and then reposition again up the top. Okay, so there it is in the key of F. Let's move on to the next key. Okay, so here we are in the key of B flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so 1, 3, 5 makes our major triad. So B flat, D, F. Put this note up top, you get your first inversion. D, F, B flat. And then put this note up top, you get your second inversion. F, B flat, D. Then put this note up top, you come back to root position. 1, 2, B flat, D, F, up the octave. Root position up the octave. With the left hand, okay, B flat, D, F, 1, 3, 5. Put this note up top. D, F, B flat, first inversion. F, B flat, D, second inversion. Put this note up the top, you come back to root position. Okay, let's move on to the next key. All right, so here we are in the key of E flat. Here's the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 3, 5 makes up the major triad in root position. All right, so E flat, G, B flat. Move this note up the top. You get your first inversion, G, B flat, E flat. Move this note up the top. You get your second inversion, B flat, E flat, G. And then move this note up the top, you get them back to root position. Okay, that's left hand. 1, 3, 5, you get your root position. Move this note up the top. You get your first inversion, G, B flat, E flat. This note up the top, you get your second inversion, B flat, E flat, G, and it comes back to root position. All right, so there it is in the key of E flat. All right, so here we are in the key of A flat. So here's the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so 1, 3, 5, you get your root position major triad. Move this note up the top, you get your first inversion, so C, E flat, A flat. Move this note up the top, you get your second inversion, so E flat, A flat, C, and then move this note up top, and then you get your A flat, C, E flat, root position up the octave again. I'm going to move this up the octave again because that's a bit murky down there. So A flat for the root position, 1, 3, 5, and then for the first inversion, so C, E flat, A flat. Move this note up the top for the second inversion, E flat, A flat, C for the second inversion, and then comes back to root position. All right, up the octave. Okay, so there it is in the key of A flat. Okay, so here we are in the key of D flat. Here's the D flat major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so the major triads are made up of 1, 3, 5. Okay, which is D flat, F, and A flat. Move this note up top, you get your first inversion, F, A flat, D flat. Move this note up top, you get your second inversion, A flat, D flat, F, and then coming with this A flat up top, you get your root position again. Okay, left hand, 1, 3, 5 root position. Move this note up top, you get your first inversion, F, A flat, D flat. Move this note up top, you get your second inversion, A flat, and then it comes back to your root position when you move this up the top. Okay, so there it is in the key of D flat. Now, the key of G flat, and this is the last of the major ones. Okay, so G flat major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so here we have 1, 3, 5, which is the root position triad. Move this note up the octave, you get your first inversion. Move this note up the octave, you get your second inversion. Move this note up the octave, you get your root position again up the octave. Now I'm going to move, I know it's written here, but I'm going to move it up the octave again, make it a bit cleaner with the, it's a bit low down there. So G flat, B flat, D flat equals root position. Move this note up the top, you get your first inversion, B flat, D flat, G flat. With this note up the top, you get your second inversion, D flat, G flat, B flat, and then root position again up the top. All right, so there it is in G flat. Okay, so here we are with the minor. Okay, now with the minor triad is a little bit different, and it gets a little bit confusing because there's a few different minor scales. There's the harmonic minor, the melodic minor. I don't want you to be worried about any of those for now. All I want you to be aware of is that the minor triad, right, really is just made up of 1 flat 3 and a 5 in all 12 keys. So all you're effectively doing is just lowering that third to a flat 3. And so that's the major. It's very happy sound, you know, happy, 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 happy. And then minor, ooh, something's going to happen. Especially up the octave here, you can hear it kind of like, You always hear that in kind of haunty films and scary scenes, you know. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is it's not, but to me it's not unhappy. I mean, I love a minor chord. I mean, especially later on where we get more extensions on and 4-note chords. I mean, they're wonderful. Okay, so let's move through the 12 keys now, all right? So like before, it just works exactly like the major, but we're going to make the flat 3 instead of the natural 3. Okay, so here it is in the key of C. So C, E flat, G gives you root position, C minor, all right? Take that note up top, you get your first inversion, C minor. There it is there. So E flat, G, C, and then take this note up top, you get your G, C, E flat. All right, that's your second inversion, and then comes back to C minor up the octave. All right, and here it is with the left hand. C minor, 1 flat 3, 5. First, that's root position, and then take that note up top, you get your first inversion. E flat, G, C, put this note up top, you get your second inversion, G, C, E flat, and then you come back to root position up the top. All right, let's move on through the other keys now, up to G minor. Okay, so here's the G minor triad. Okay, so 1 natural 3 would be the major, but we're making this the minor now, so just bring that down there. So that's 1 flat 3, 5. So there it is in root position, C, B flat, D. Move this note up top, get your first inversion, B flat, D, G. Move this note up top, you get your second inversion, D, G, B flat, and then move this note up top, you're back to root position. Okay, so it's a bit low down here again, so I'm going to play it up the octave. So G, B flat, D, root position, move this note up top, you get your first inversion, then you get your second inversion, and then your root position again up the octave. All right, there's your G minor triad. Okay, so to get your D minor triad, remember the major one has an F sharp in it. All right, D1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to flatten that, bring it to the F natural, and a lot of my students get confused with that. But it's a normal thing to be confused about, all right, because it's coming the other way to the white note. 1 flat 3, 5. Okay, so there it is in root position. So to make it first inversion, we're bringing that up the octave. So F, A, D, first inversion. To make second inversion is A, D, F natural, and then you're back to root position. Okay, left hand, 1 flat 3, 5, F. That's root position to get it to first inversion. There it is there, F, A, D, to move this note up the top to get it to second inversion, A, D, F for second inversion, and then you're back to root position up the octave. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so A minor triad in root position. The major one would be this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, we're lowering that to the minor to give it the flat 3, because the minor triad's made up of 1 flat 3, 5. And there it is in root position. To get first inversion, we're going to move this up the octave. To get second inversion, we're going to move this one up the octave. And to get back to root position, we're moving it up the octave there like that. There's your root position up the octave. Here's the A minor with the left hand. So 1 flat 3, 5. Move this one up the octave, you get your first inversion. Move this one up the octave, you get your second inversion. And then you get your root position again up the octave. All right, let's move on to the next key. All right, so here we are in E minor. Okay, so remember that the major triad's made up of E, G sharp, B, and we're going to bring that down to for the flattened 3 because we want to get a minor triad. All right, so E, G, B, root position minor triad, E minor. To get your first inversion, move this one up the octave. To get your second inversion, move this one up the octave. And to get your root position, move that one up the octave. Done. Okay, left hand. So G, root position, move this one up the octave. G, B, E, first inversion, move this one up the octave, the second inversion, and coming back to your root position. All right, so there it is there in the key of E minor. Okay, so there's your E minor triad with the 3 inversions. I also forgot to mention that the minor triad has 3 ways to play it, just like the major triad does. All right, so that's a pretty cool thing to remember. Okay, so here we are in the B minor. Okay, so remember our B major is made up of this. So as you 1, 3, 5, we want to lower that thing there. Remember our major triad's made up of 1, 3, 5. We want to lower the 3 to the flat 3. And there it is there. Giganto. Okay, so there's your root position. Here's your first inversion. So D, F sharp, A. So here's your first inversion, D, F sharp, B. And let's move this up the top. Second inversion. And then come back to your root position. Okay, there's the right hand. Here's the left hand. Root position, move this up the top. First inversion. Second inversion. And back to your root position. Okay, let's move on to the next key. All right, we're moved into F minor triad now. So our F major triad is this. Now F minor, we're going to lower that 3 and bring it down to there. Okay, so there's your 1, flat 3, 5. So F, A, flat, C, root position, minor triad. Move this up the octave to get your first inversion. A flat, C, F. Second inversion, A flat up the top. C, F, A flat, and then back to your root position. All right, with the left hand. Again, a bit too low down here, so we're going to bring it up the octave. And I kind of wrote it that way down there because it's easier to read with the with the notes. But you can, I'd recommend you playing it up here. So there's your root position, F, A flat, C. Move this note up top. A flat, C, F. Move this note up top. Second inversion, and then you've got your root position up the top again. Okay, so there's your inversions for F minor triad. Okay, so B flat minor. Okay, here's your major triad, 1, 3, 5. We're going to lower this note to the 3. Ooh, okay, from major to minor. Name that jazz standard. But anyway, so B flat minor, root position, B flat, D flat, F. Move this note up the top, you get your first inversion. D flat, F, B flat. With this note up the top, you get your second inversion, F, B flat, D flat, and with this note up the top, you get your root position again. Okay, with the left hand, there it is there, root position, up the top, first inversion, up the top, second inversion, with this note up top, your root position again. Okay, let's move on to the next key. Okay, so E flat minor triad. There's the major. I'm going to bring this guy down to flatten it to get the minor triad. Okay, so there's E flat minor triad root position, E flat, G flat, B flat. Move this note up the top, you get your first inversion. Move this note up the top, you get your second inversion. Move this note up the top, you get your root position again. So here we are in root position. Move this note up the top, you get your first inversion. Then move this note up the top, you get your second inversion. This note up the top, you get your root position again. Okay, so there we are in E flat. So here we are in A flat now. So the A flat major triad is 1, 3, 5. But we want to lower this note to bring it down to here. Okay, so there becomes the minor triad, 1 flat 3 5. All right, so A flat B or C flat, which can be a bit confusing. C flat, or you can look at it as a B. You know, tomato, tomato. So I kind of write it with the C flat, but I think of it as a B, if that helps. Okay, so there we are there. So that's root position. So to bring it up to the first inversion, take this note up top. There's our first inversion. To get a second inversion, with that note up the top, and then root position up the octave again. All right, let's do it in the left hand. So there's our root position. Break this note up the top. We get our first inversion. We put this note up the top. We get our second inversion, and it comes back to root position. Okay, let's move on to the next key. Okay, so D flat minor triad. You're probably wondering why I'm explaining the major before I play the minor. It's because it's a cool way to get you into the minor, is that you just have to swap the lower note down a semitone. So there it is there. So D flat, E, A flat. Root position. First inversion would be that, bringing up that top note up to, bringing up that bottom note up the top. We get our first inversion. Bottom note up the top, we get our second inversion. And then we're back to root position there up the octave. So here we are in root position with the left hand. Put this note up top, we get our first inversion. This note up top, we get our second inversion. And back to our root position again up the top. All right, let's move on to the next key. But before you freak out, this is I've just written this a couple of different ways. Like with the last key, you know, there's a few different ways. When it's written on music, it looks more complicated. Okay, so let me explain. So if you look at G flat major triad, which is made up of G, B flat, D flat, to get that minor third, you just got to lower that down to there. All right, now that's an A natural, effectively, isn't it? And I have it written there on beat 3, if you like, but there is no tempo on this music. But you see, I've got 2 minims written in each bar. So the first way I wrote it is I've written it in the day with 2 B flats there on the B flat, which means a double B flat. Okay, so it means A natural. Okay, so you've got that there, F sharp, A, B flat. Or you can just look at it as I've written there on B3, just as an A natural. All right, and then you get your G sharp minor or F sharp minor. Okay, I'm just going to look at it as G flat for today. Okay, so there it is there, root position. Move this note up top for first inversion. Move this note up top, you get your second inversion. This note up top, C sharp up top, you get your root position again. With the left hand, again, we're too muddy down here, so I'm going to bring it up here. So there's our root position, this note up top, first inversion, put this note up top, second inversion, put this note up top, root position again. Okay? Okay. So there we are, we've finished all the keys. How awesome is that? We just flew through all the major triads and all the inversions and all the minor triads with all of the inversions in all 12 keys. Okay, so depending on where you're at, some of you might be only focusing on a few keys, some of you might be on all of them. Just take your time, do what you can of where you're at with your musicality at the moment, but just do it every day and you'll get there, I promise. Okay, so just remember that little thing I said, bottom note to top, and you'll get through your inversions. Okay, so it makes it less haunting and makes it much easier. Okay, so all right, so if you're enjoying the content on this channel, then please do subscribe and click that bell to be notified when all the new videos arrive. This will help me help you, because as the channel gets bigger, I'll be able to focus on it more, therefore giving you guys more and more and more awesome content. Also, check out the Facebook and Instagram links below and the website classicaltojazzpiano.com. I have a load of more goodies there for you guys to check out. Plus, as this is a new channel, and I really want to help you cut through the confusion of learning jazz piano and that jigsaw, I want to try and help you piece it all together and transform your piano playing. So, do you have a question on jazz piano? You know, where are you stuck? You know, let me know below in the comment area, or you can email me at greg@classicaltojazzpiano.com. All right, so I hope this lesson's helped, and we'll see you soon. Take it easy.